there artists, I am Ambidextrous Artist and welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would do a video that I've been seeing a lot of other YouTubers do, and that is the art supplies that I use. So I have a lot of my stuff right here. And I just realized there's some other things that I need to go grab, but and I'm just going to go over the basic things that I use. I'm not going to do too much detail into them, but just the basic stuff, and yeah, like around the price range and stuff like that. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start off with paper, since you start off with paper for pretty much any art project, except for if it's like graphic, but I mean like on the computer or anything like that. But so I have lots and lots of sketchbooks I actually still use. So believe it or not, I use everything that you will see. But sometimes I want to draw on one sketchbook, and then other times I want to draw on another. So we're going to go right into it, and I'll just not go into too much detail, but we're just going to look at everything. This is the paper you see me use in almost every single one of my videos, and it is just basic cardstock. I think this is just the Staples brand. I don't know, this is the only amount that I have left. We need to go get some more, but yeah, that's basically the cardstock that I use. But when I'm planning for a video, what I use is this. This is my DIY Midori Traveler's Notebook, and there's so many videos out there explaining this, so I'm not going to go into too much detail about it. But this is mine. It's different from other people's. I mean, it's very, very different. But I have 3 little inserts. I have my inspiration notebook, my sketchbook. Oh gosh, that was not a very good drawing. But yeah, there's like some completely random things. And then I have my notes book. Oh gosh, which is kind of where either I just take notes for class, or I take notes for a video. Then there are these two, which I don't think these even have a brand. I found them at Michael's and they didn't have a brand on them, so I think they're just basic, like probably around Craftsmart or Michael's brand. And these are just 2 little sketchbooks. I like this one because I can just take stickers and I can draw around them, which is kind of the whole point of this little one. And it's actually really thick paper, and it's slightly textured, so you could easily use this for watercolor. The only issue I have is the second page is bound onto the first page, so it's kind of useless because it won't lay flat completely. And I just customized it and add this little ribbon around it. And then this one is just a larger version. You can just see I have more stuff in here. This is just kind of like a breakdown of each of my OCs. But yeah, and these have like a denim texture and look to them, and I like them. I also added stickers to the front of them because I'm like, yay, stickers. This is probably my newest favorite brand for sketchbooks, and I don't know how to pronounce this, but hopefully I pronounce it right, but it's Bindfang. And I don't know what other papers they have. I just got the mixed media, and I saw that the paper is very white. It's similar to my cardstock, but it's a little more textured, and it's just amazing. And it reacts to a lot of things very, very well. And Copic doesn't necessarily bleed through it too much. Like, this is a Copic drawing. It doesn't bleed through it too much. I mean, obviously if you keep layering it, it will bleed through, but yeah, it doesn't bleed through awfully. So this is my little one, which is just one I carry around. And then this is where a lot of my projects happen. So these 2 are just ones I did off camera. Here's my bubble pop picture. Here's a watercolor thing I did. And also what I found is, I didn't tape these down, by the way, and the paper doesn't bow much. I mean, it does warp a little bit, but it doesn't do it much. My lucky dip, another drawing, just like completely random things. So I was just really interested in this one, and yeah, I got it for Christmas. I don't know how much it is, and I couldn't find it in Michael's or anything, so I don't know where you would get these. But I also like that the spiral isn't huge, and it's on the side instead of the top. And I like spiral bound sketchbooks too. Then we have Strathmore, which is a brand that I've been using for such a long time. I have 3 of these little drawing pads. This one is one I just started, so this is the one I'm currently working on. But this drawing pad, the one thing I have against it, that was a picture my friend drew, is that it's not very white. It's definitely a toned paper, and I'm kind of against toned paper, but it's still a very good paper. I haven't done any like Copic or watercolor on it, but yeah. I also have their larger drawing pad, which this is whiter paper. It's weird. So this yellow one has white paper, very white, and this brown one has like toned paper. I don't know if it's supposed to be like that or not. Then I have a watercolor pad, and this is actually really good watercolor paper, but this watercolor paper warps more than my mixed media paper from Bindfang, which is kind of weird. And then we have their tracing paper too, which I use for some things. I'll probably get into that in a more in depth in another video, but those are my Strathmore ones. The last 2 are ones that I either just don't like that much or I don't know the brand. So this one, I don't really like it. The paper is really thick, but it bends and it warps so easily that it's honestly kind of crappy. So I don't recommend Artist Loft. I definitely recommend Strathmore or Bindfang if you can find it anywhere. But Artist Loft is really just kind of like the cheap Michael's brand, I feel like. And then this one, I don't know the brand for it. This is like a really, really nice, it's cardboard, but it has like a whiteboard, oh gosh, whiteboard feel to it. And I really like the cover. And the only thing I have really against it is the spiral. So the spiral bound is not that great because of how big it is. But it's really thick paper. It's slightly textured, and I just really like it. And this is a lucky dip that I did in a previous video, but I really like it. So yeah, it's a good sketchbook. I don't know where it's from, but yeah. The next step in your artwork is pencils. So I have all of these pencils with me. I've just gotten into charcoal pencils, so actually I don't know. I think this is Kohinoor. I think that's the brand, because I have some pens that say Kohinoor on them. So I think that's the brand, Kohinoor. But this is a Negro graphite. No. It's either graphite or charcoal. Sometimes I can't tell the difference. But I got them in a set of other charcoal pencils. I just remember one of the black ones felt like a graphite or oil, so I don't really know. Then I have this one, which is probably my favorite drawing pencil ever, and it's by Derwent. It's their Graphic 7B pencil, and it's really soft, but you still don't go through it very quickly. And then I have these assorted the Fine Touch pencils, and they were cheap, but I like them, so. And finally, we have the World's Greatest Pencil, Dixon and Ticonderoga. You can never go wrong with those. And I have a mechanical pencil, which I use these so much in my sketchbooks because they're sketchbooks. And this is a Bic Velocity pencil, and it looks like a pen. Woohoo! Another thing I like to sketch with and color with is actually these Daler Rowney colored pencils. So I just have the blue one with me because this is a really good sketching pencil. And they're really nice. They're very pigmented, and I just really like them. And they're very comfortable in your hand. They have like a triangular thing to them. And then also, you can't go wrong with Crayola pencils, so I also have that. And even though these don't erase very well, when I'm sketching, I don't worry about that. here are some of my inking pens, and these are just my favorites. And I ink in gray, blue, and black ink, but mostly blue and black. I don't know why I ink in blue, but I do have two good blue inking pens. I have a Micron 05, so it's actually pretty thick and it's really good. And then I also have a Micron 0.5. Not Micron, this is Copic. Haha, Copic multiliner. And it's very pigmented. Both of them are very pigmented. And then we have the black ones. So I've actually only seen one other artist use these, and they are Stabilo 0.88 pens, and I love them so much. I'm sorry, my camera will not focus. I'm not using the best camera right now, but they're nice and fine, but not super, super fine. You can see that. And they come in so many colors, and the place that I got them, they were only $1 each, and I was like, sure, I'll get 3 different shades of gray. So I have those. And then, ooh, this is probably my favorite thing in the world, and it's a Zig vellum writer. It has a fine tip, which is what I use most often, and a broad tip, which I don't use as much, but it's still a good pen. If I can get the cap back on. Okay. Then these two Creative Memories pens are actually, well, Creative Memories is a brand meant for scrapbooking, so my mom has a ton of these and she scrapbooks. But I really like this bold tip. It's like a flat nib. It's really, really weird, but it's awesome. And then they also have the fine tip. They have one more, which is a round tip, but it's like a marker, basically, and I'm not a huge fan of it. But I have 2 of the black ones. And then you will always see me use this, and this is my Pentel sign pen. And you will not see my Papermate Flare in this video because I'm still kind of experimenting with it, and I'm not that great with it yet. Also, I can't find it. But this is my Pentel sign pen. And here is my Koh-i-Noor pen. This is why I thought that other one was Koh-i-Noor brand, but these turned out to be really good pens. They look really cheap, but they're really good pens. And I got them at Tuesday Morning, and it was $5 for a pack of 24, and I was like, are you serious? So yeah, I have a bunch of those. Now I'm going to start getting into coloring utensils, but to start off, we're going to go with jelly rolls. Now I have a 10-pack of Jelly Roll Soufflés, a 10-pack of Jelly Roll Classics, and then 1 Jelly Roll Metallic, and I'm planning on getting the pack of Jelly Roll Metallics. But I have this silver Jelly Roll, and I actually really like it. And then, yeah, I'm really liking the 08 tip, which I find the 08 is a bit bigger than the 06, and I like it better than the 06. And then soufflés, they're really weird. They're very, very bright, I will tell you that, and they go on liquid, but they dry matte. But they're really awesome. And then I've just gotten into alcohol-based markers. So I have 2 right here. I have 1 Copic Original. I have 5 Copic Originals and 3 Copic Sketch, I think. But this is B26, if you're wondering, and this is BV01. Yeah, yay. And then I also use Prismacolors because they're cheaper, but I feel like they have a better brush tip than Copics. I also have these Bic markers, which I don't think are alcohol based. I don't know. They're permanent markers. And Artist Loft, these are Artist Loft water-based markers. I've kind of moved on from the Crayola Super Tips because these I kind of like better. I mean, I still use Crayola Super Tips, but I feel like I'll use these more. Yeah, and you'll see that all of my things, most of my things, actually will have this, either this duct tape washi or this red and white washi, and I think I also have some black and white washi on some things. And that's just because I've had people steal my art supplies before, and I don't want it to happen again. here's some random items that when I do use this sort of thing, I use these. So I have some Crayola crayons because let's face it, everybody loves Crayola, and Crayola works so well in so many instances. So I just stuck with Crayola crayons because I was too lazy to go out and buy some nice oil pastels, and I don't use oil-based anything much, so there we go. And then I also have these Artist Loft pastels, and I just got them to have them and try them out, so I just have one right here. They're in like a little block form, and I have them wrapped in plastic wrap so the color doesn't transfer to all of them. But yeah, that's that. Then we have paints, which I use this so much, but before I get into that, what I use to hold my paper down is this dollar store painter's tape. The reason why I use the dollar store is that means I'm positive it will not be sticky, so it won't stick very well to my paper, which is good. So I recommend getting the dollar store stuff. And then I feel like most artists, like the thing that they use the most is watercolor. I'm kind of a mixed media person, so I always will use just Copics and watercolor, or Copics and acrylics and watercolor, and just all kinds of stuff mashed together, just kind of whatever I have with me. So the brand of watercolor that I absolutely love is Niji, which I've never heard of this brand until I first went to Cheap Joe's Art Stuff, and I saw that they had these watercolors, and they were in a good sized pack. I think it was a pack of 12. I don't even know how many are in here. But it's a good, nice sized pack, and they weren't too expensive at Cheap Joe's Art Stuff. And because those are such little tubes, I decided to do what a lot of artists do and put them into a palette, and this is also from Cheap Joe's Art Stuff. And this is just a ceramic palette, and it has small wells, but I feel like that's kind of what I need. So yeah, I also have another thing for mixing, but yeah, that's my ceramic palette. So I use Niji watercolors, and then these are actually Artist Loft. But these are their, I can't get it open. I think they were called Perlino, but they have like the Perlino finish, pearl finish. They're not very opaque, but I feel like that's good because what I use them for, I don't want them to be opaque. But yeah, that's those. Okay, and then we have this stuff. So I mostly use Craftsmart acrylic paint because I'm not going to waste my money on really nice acrylic paint when I mostly use markers. But, sorry. The acrylics I use most of the time is their Craftsmart normal acrylic paint and their satin acrylic. That's just what I use most of the time. I also use some outdoor acrylic for projects like that. Oh gosh. Finally, I have this branded tempera paint. I've never really heard of this, but my mom got this when she was getting stuff for Vacation Bible School. And yeah, I guess that's what that is. But yeah, these are really good temperas. All I have is, oh gosh, metallic tempera paint. But yeah, I don't use tempera too much anyways. Forgot to mention this before, but this is the eraser I use the most. It's actually one that I got at my school's book fair, but it works really, really well, surprisingly. And it's not really messy either. I mean, when you erase stuff, it mostly gets into like a little strand. What the heck is that? Oh. But this is actually a really good eraser. I don't know the brand or anything. I know it was supposed to be scented, and it was for like a week, but now it's not scented anymore. Yeah. That's my eraser. I fell in love with this medium, which is clay. So originally I was using like the air dry clay and stuff like that, and I still have some air dry clay. I have white air dry clay, and it's really nice air dry clay. It's not like the cheap stuff. But then I came across, let's get that out of the way. I came across polymer clay. So the brand I use most is Sculpey 3, which I feel like a lot of people use that the most. But then I wanted to expand my horizons and try other ones because I wanted to know if the Craft Smart polymer clay since it's cheaper, I wanted to know if it works just the same or if it works worse. And then I wanted to know about the Fimo and Primo, since Primo and Fimo are a little more expensive than Sculpey sometimes. However, where I get it, it's not. But yeah, so I use Fimo. I also have some Primo, which I didn't like it. I don't like Primo. I have Sculpey Bake Shop, which is the Walmart brand, but it works just as good as the Sculpey 3. I do have some Craft Smart, and I just have some normal Sculpey 3 as well. And I haven't really found a difference between Sculpey 3 and Fimo. It kind of depends on where you get it, because some places it gets really, really hard for some reason. Like Fimo can be really, really hard. But Sculpey's always soft for me. But yeah, I just have loads and loads of clay. Here are the basic tools I use. I use, like everybody else, I use a razor. Or like a knife or whatever you want to call this. This is the Sculpey flexible knife. I also use Bacon Bond and Gloss Glaze by Sculpey. I use mostly Sculpey stuff because it's nice quality and it's actually pretty cheap. Then I use, this is a Royal Sovereign color shaper. I don't know, it's like a rubber tip tool. And then I also have some other rubber tip tools. This is the only one I can find right now. This one has a rubber chisel tip, and then it also has a ball tip. I have just some random tools. I mean, I use all this stuff, I'll tell you that. Like I have these screw tools, the brushing thingy. I don't really know the names for all of these. But, and this is my needle tool that I use the most. And then I also use this, which I kind of need to replace what's in there, but it's basically a sewing needle inside of an X-Acto thingy. So I need to replace the sewing needle because it broke, but it's a really good way to get something, a thinner line than what you can get with this. Then I have these plastic tools and some super glue because I need that sometimes. But yeah, that's my tools for sculpting. If I can get everything back in here. And this is just scrap clay and extra bags. The last thing I'm going to talk about is electronics. So I'm going to start with the thing that most artists love, and that is, I know it doesn't look like it right now, but that is a light box. So I created this pouch by myself for my light box because it didn't come with a case. But I use I don't know if this is how you pronounce it, but a DB Meyer light box. And it's not plugged in, so I can't exactly show you. But there's 3 light settings. So there's like dim, brighter, and brightest. So depending on what your light is like, I can't even get the thing in one frame, what your light is like at that moment. So like right now I would probably use the brightest setting, and then when I have all the lights off I would use the dimmest setting, that sort of thing. But I really like it, and it's really, really nice. It's nice and thin too, so I like it. That's my light box. I recently got into digital art, so I asked for a graphic tablet for Christmas, and I got one. But this is a Parblo graphic tablet. I know there's like really big ones and stuff like that, but I like this small one quite a lot. It's a good size, and I don't use these buttons because for some reason my computer doesn't accept them as like stuff that you can use for some reason. What I use for cleaning it is this Pergear cleaning cloth, and then I have the pen that came with the tablet, and then I also have this, it's rubbed off, but this is Parblo. This is their hand guard which I typically have this on my right hand because my computer has it set at the right hand setting. So the issue with this is this isn't something that I can use ambidextrously. So it's just kind of a pain in the butt because you have to go in and change the settings to left hand to use it with your left hand. But I guess since originally I was born right-handed, I guess I'm just going to keep it over my right hand setting. But when I got the cleaning cloth, I also got these gloves. I don't really know the entire point of this, but I know that because my left hand always wants to be right next to my right hand, I have to put this on because I don't want to smudge my surface or anything like that. But because when I'm doing this, it's kind of frustrating with the whole ambidextrous thing, but I will have the pen in my hand, and then my left hand's going to be like, oh, let me help you out. So I kind of have to have the glove on my left hand at all times, because I know that sometimes I can't control it for some reason. But yeah, one thing, I didn't include paintbrushes in this video because I use so many different brands, and I really just find the cheapest stuff, buy it, and see how it works, and normally it works pretty well. So I didn't include that in this video. If you want to see the exact brands of all the paintbrushes that I use, let me know and maybe I'll do another video for it. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching. Subscribe for more. Don't forget to comment and rate this video with a thumbs up too. And I'm Ambidextrous Artist, and I'm signing out.